I'm Adam and welcome back to AR Projects. So, welcome back to AR Projects, and as you can see today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm actually sorting out my rear derailleur on my push bike because it's broken, so I've got a replacement over here which is just sort of, not bottom of the range, but there's not much choice when it goes to 9-speed derailleurs on these. So I just sort of got what was recommended by the people in the shop. I think it's the Shimano Altus, which isn't exactly the top of the range, but it will do what it needs to do. I think they're about sort of 30 quid, something like that, from the shops. So I've got that. I'm just going to quickly swap that over, show you how to do it, and then set up the gears. So I'm going to start taking it apart. So the first thing I'm going to do, we get my Allen keys, because that's what you're going to need. The first part, I have to take this guard off of the derailleur so I can take the chain away from it. So if I do that first, should be able to just walk these out and you get the cogs free. Just like that. Couldn't do that again. So that's that one out. Where's the other one? I've got to go through from the other side on this one. Oh no, don't need to do that one. So you've only got to take the bottom one out. So that's what I've just taken out, is the cog out of the bottom of the derailleur. So that now means that it's free. I've got the chain, which means I can actually now take it off. So to take it off, I've got a 5mm Allen key. Whack that in there. I'm not changing the bracket that sits on it, just purely because there's nothing wrong with this one. The only time you're going to need to change it is purely if it's bent, and even then, most of the time you can straighten it back out. So it's also the same size on my one anyway, to take the cable off. So the cable is off, and it will be off. So when I was in the shop talking to them, they recommended that when changing the derailleur, you change the cable as well. But I haven't changed the cable that long ago, so I'm not going to do it, because I think I've ridden it twice since changing the gear cable on it. Because I had to change the gear cable because I changed all the brakes on it. So the actual gear shifters on the old brakes, they were built in as one, because they were designed to be together. So I then had to replace them. So because it wouldn't fit over with my new brakes, so I changed them over, and yeah. So just if you've got an old cable, just make sure you change it over at the same time. So there's the old derailleur. It's a bit manky. The spring's a lot better than I thought it was, to be fair, but it's still not quite, like, you can see it sort of. It does its movement, but it's not quite as quick as it should be. So my issue that I've been having is it's changing from 1 to 9, okay, but when I'm coming back down it's very slow and it's hard. It's not quite moving in the right way. I've tried adjusting all the gears and it's just not doing it. So we've got the new Shimano Altus here. So I'm going to give that a go. It's got all the movement that I want it to have. So everything back down to 0. So for this again, I'm going to whip out the bottom cog. Although this time, because it's not going to be under the pressure, it should hopefully go a little bit better. And it shouldn't go ping. all you need to do is get it started and you're away. Obviously you don't want to cross thread it, and I've definitely not cross threaded it, otherwise you wouldn't be able to turn it with by hand with this tiny little thing. So I've got that pretty much all the way in. I'm going to give it the final little tighten up. You don't have to go too mad, but that's that tightened up. And on the new one, this still fits where the cable needs to go, so I'm happy with that. So obviously now that's on, obviously you can see it's not sitting anywhere near the right gear. So if I was to do it, I'm not sure really. So that's roughly where it is at the moment. It's meant to be down there. So anyway, so I'll whack that in here. Put the cable through. How basic that is. The derailleur switched over, so that's on. It's not obviously where it needs to be. I'm going to set that out in a minute, but that is on. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be setting up where it sits, that way and that way, its ability to move up and down like that, and also that way and that way. So I'll run through exactly how you want it to sit and all that in a minute. So thank you very much. See you in a second. So now I've got this back on, I'm now going to show you the basics of how to set it all up. It's nice and simple. You've got your high screw, limit screw there, and you've got your low limit screw there. So when you're doing your high limit screw, it's obviously for your highest gear. So it stops it from coming too far this way towards me, which then means it will come off of that last cog and hit the frame. And then you've got the low for when you're in your lowest gear, so it doesn't go too far and this hits your wheel. So the easiest way to do it is remove all the tension off of your cable. So I'm not going to do that because I've got everything set up. So you take the tension off the cable, and then by hand, obviously you'll have the chain in the highest gear first off, because it will naturally come back to here. So you do your high screw and you'll twist it in, twist it out, and you'll see which way will send it in which direction. So the easiest way is stand either above it like this if you can, or behind it, and you want it in line with the cog as much as you can, and maybe, if anything, slightly closer to the cog behind, but not enough for it to be making a noise and clanging while you're pedalling. So once you've done that, you then use your hand by hand, do that, and you'll push it across, obviously pedal along while you're doing it, and change it up to the top gear to set your other limit screw, and you just hold it there. And as you can see, because I've done that, I haven't changed gear up there, it's gone slack on the cable. So then you'll do your other tension screw, and again, you want to line up as close as you can with that cog, and you do not want to hit your wheel, obviously, because you don't want to hit that while you're riding along and absolutely mangle up your rear derailleur. So once you've set all of that, you'll then, this will now change back now, I think. No, it won't, because it's not sitting back in its thing properly. As you can hear, Rob's just got up here, he's playing around with his Mini. Hi. So I'll put the cable back in, so it's all back up where it should be. Now change that down gear. Right, so once you've done that, you then want to obviously to put your cable back through here, and you want to tension it by hand, do that up. But before doing that, you've got an adjustment knob here, and you'll also have one on your trigger shifter. So you want both of them wound in, so you've still got adjustment to tighten them up and whatever. So do that by hand, as tight as you can by hand. Obviously don't yank it through, because you've got minimal movement anyway. It's just to take up that slack, so you've got next to no movement there. So then you'll go up or down a gear, because it's in the top gear. So go down a gear, and you'll want it to change just like mine did straight away. So in order to do that, if it doesn't change straight away, all you've got to do is go to your adjuster up on your trigger shifter, undo it, to make it a little bit tighter, and you're going to keep going until it does just make that thing down. So go all the way to the top, come down, and if it doesn't, obviously it's slow. Mine's not a all singing all dancing 80 quid plus derailleur, it's 30 quid, so it's not the quickest. It'll come back down alright, but it does the job. So I've done it, it's gone back down a gear. If it doesn't go back down a gear, it means you've got it too tight, so you just want to back it off a touch and then try again. And then you got your B tension screw, which sets your limit on how much movement you got on that to drop down, and obviously it sets your tension effectively. So I'm quite happy with where it's all sitting on. Once you've set up everything in the right places, you've got your high, low, you make sure you know what you're doing with them. You've done your B tension screw, you're all set up, ready to go. Just remember when you go out, just take a little screwdriver with you so you can adjust it, because over time, if you've changed this cable especially, it will stretch. So you can just adjust it while you're out, and then you won't be left high and dry, not being able to change gears because you'll have a screwdriver with you. So yeah, the other things to look out for as well, I should have said this at the beginning, but make sure you've got no like sharp kinks and stuff like that in your cable running along. You want it nice and flowy like that, otherwise it will just harm how you change gear. But yeah, so I know it was a bit different, doing bikes rather than cars. I mean, Rob's still doing cars, but he's down there. So I hope you enjoyed it for something different. Next time I'll probably be doing the forks on this, but we'll probably be doing car stuff next time. But the next time we do a bike episode, we'll be doing the forks on this, because I've got to do a lower fork rebuild on these. These are Fox 32s. They're quite an old set by the looks of it, because I bought this bike second hand of one of my friends. And I've just changed bits on it. But yeah, so these are quite an old set. I'm not sure how old, but they need a rebuild. So I'm going to do a lower end rebuild because the top end's fine. It's holding air. It's fine. But yeah. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe. Drop some comments below. Like it. Do whatever you want. And we'll see you next time. Say goodbye, Rob.
Bye. Just had a sketchy moment.
Even though you can't see him. But yeah.
Just had a sketchy moment.
While we've got the video going, also I'd like to say that Yes Bruv Signworks was the one who done our stickers and our hoodies. So thank you very much, Carl.
Yes, bruv.
Yes, bruv. Sign works. So if you need any stickers, hoodies, whatever, you can head over to his Instagram, follow him on there. He does all sorts of bits. He does bits for our friends as well. So thank you very much, Carl. And yeah, see you next time. Like and subscribe.